haunting, shrouded in mystery, and insanely terrifying. When conspiracy disguises itself as a toy, it takes the form of the infamous Labubu. So hold on tight, because the evil side of this doll is about to be revealed.
Holy.
A girl was sleeping when she suddenly felt something. A heavy, negative energy in his room, rubbing her eyes. She glanced at her favorite Labubu collection and froze. One of the dolls wasn't like the others. Its eyes, they seemed alive, staring straight into her soul. Every time she blinked, the gaze felt sharper, colder, almost mocking. Doorstep horror. One man's Ring camera picked up something that'll give you chills. At 3 a.m., a massive Labubu showed up on his porch, waving directly at the camera like it knew it was being watched. Even creepier, it held up a strange Labubu box, as if delivering some kind of message. By morning, the man found the toy at his doorstep. What's really going on here? Honestly, this feels straight up unsettling. Demonic Labubu. Labubus aren't just cute collectibles. Some say they've got a darker side. One family's CCTV proves it. While siblings slept peacefully, the sister suddenly woke up and noticed her Labubu staring back with glowing eyes. Terrified, she screamed, jolting her parents awake. The father rushed in and wasted no time tossing that toy out of the house for good. Dark prediction. Some fans believe The Simpsons predicted Labubu's darker truth. In a Treehouse of Horror episode, Maggie becomes possessed after receiving a Pazuzu doll. Strangely, collectors now compare Labubu's wide eyes and sharp teeth to the same Mesopotamian demon. Critics say its design mixes cute and grotesque in a way that feels unsettling, almost cursed. Could Labubu really be more than a toy? Maybe even a vessel of negative energy? Haunted toy. Back in the late 90s, kids thought Furbies were just cute toys, but turns out they had a darker side. Many early Furbies glitched out in terrifying ways, screeching random sounds, blinking like they were possessed, and even moving on their own. Parents called it a malfunction. Kids swore it was demonic. Later, experts even warned Furbies could be hacked and used for spying. Cute? Maybe. Safe? Not so much. The broken Furby. A guy was trying to sleep when the old Furby he bought from a thrift store started making noises. The thing was already broken, and the sound wasn't the usual playful Furbish chatter. It was something darker, almost like a whisper. Half asleep, he realized the voice didn't belong to a toy at all. That's when the room turned cold, and he knew he wasn't alone with just a broken Furby. Girl and her doll.
She said, "I love this doll, Mommy, look at this doll. I'm its mommy and I have to have it." And I was like, oh, okay.
In September 2022, 3-year-old Briarbeard refused to go anywhere without her doll, Chloe. At first glance, Chloe just looked a little odd, something only a child could love. But people couldn't help doing double takes when they saw it. Even reporters were unsettled.
Oh my gosh, the
Eyes light up. Yeah.
What? Oh my gosh.
The doll's eyes would light up when pressed, followed by a giggle that quickly warped into a chilling, evil laugh.
Turns into an evil laugh.
Suddenly, Chloe didn't feel like just a toy anymore. Hidden agenda. A guy thought he was just unboxing another Labubu collectible, but something felt off. The toy was heavier than usual, so he decided to cut it open. Inside, he found a hidden camera staring back at him. That discovery changed the whole idea of Labubus being harmless toys. It makes you wonder who's behind this, and why are cameras being planted inside them? Maybe these figures aren't just for decoration after all. Creepy Ouija board. A group of Mexican teens thought it'd be fun to mess around with a Ouija board, laughing and daring each other to ask questions. But the fun ended quick when the toy bear sitting on a shelf above them suddenly moved on its own. The bear twitched, then slowly shifted as if possessed, while the teens froze in shock. Their laughter turned to fear, and the game instantly became something far more real. The Doppelganger Doll. A guy staying at a hotel kept hearing strange noises outside his room. Curious, he stepped out, only to see another door down the hall fling open, throwing things out before slamming shut. That's when it got worse. First, a shadowy figure slipped out, followed by two dolls, one placed on a box, the other hanging from the door. In the blink of an eye, both vanished. Now he's left with one haunting thought. Where did that doll come from? And what does it plan to do with the one it made of him? Toy Shop Mystery. In a quiet Mexican town, a toy shop robbery took an eerie twist. When police checked the footage, the thief was gone, but something else caught their eyes. A doll inside the shop stood up by itself, as if it had a mind of its own. No wires, no shadows, no one nearby. Was it a clever trick, a spirit at play, or something darker? To this day, no one has solved the mystery. Living illusion. Haunted doll videos pop up often, but this one felt different. A girl stood frozen, her glassy eyes and stiff smile making her look less human and more porcelain. But then it got worse. Identical figures surrounded her, motionless, yet their eyes seemed to track the camera. Some swore it was a possessed child, others whispered it was something darker. No one could trace the video's origin, and maybe that mystery is the scariest part. Spirit doll. One couple thought their weekend would be quiet, but it turned into something they'll never forget. While sitting in their living room, the man kept hearing a strange voice near his wife. You killed your mother. So he pulled out his camera. Behind her hung a clown-like doll, a souvenir from one of their paranormal cases. At first, it shifted slightly, almost like it slipped, but then it stretched its arms wide on its own. That's when panic set in, and the recording cut short. Creepy doll. Back in December 2014, a family decided to test a 100-year-old doll they owned. They left it alone for a full day, setting up a camera to see if anything strange would happen. When they played the footage back, the doll didn't just sit still, it shifted. Its head turned, its body leaned forward, almost like it was aware of being watched. That moment made it clear. This wasn't just a doll. Something darker was inside. Watching eyes. This man thought he had seen it all, until he noticed a doll standing quietly in the corner, its face hidden under a cloth. For a second, he looked away, but when he turned back, the cloth was slowly slipping off, like invisible hands were pulling it down. What was left was a lifelike face, blank yet unsettling, almost aware. People believe spirits sometimes get trapped in objects. If so, this doll wasn't just decoration, it was watching. Watching doll. A guy went exploring an old, abandoned house for a thrill. Just dust, creaky floors, and broken furniture. But one room stopped him cold. Dolls. Everywhere. At first, they seemed harmless, just old and forgotten. Then, he noticed something. Their glassy eyes were following him. Every move he made, they seemed to shift, tracking him. The feeling was too real. Terrified, he ran out and swore he'd never step foot in that house again. Awakened toy. A girl felt something off in her house, like someone or something was always watching. One day, she decided to try a small, simple ritual to see what would happen. Later, reviewing her recording, she froze. The doll sitting quietly on the cupboard began shaking on its own. No wind, no vibration, just movement. It was clear the doll was reacting. That's when she realized she hadn't just confirmed a haunting. She might have actually awakened it. Locked gaze. A teenage girl was excited about her new doll and snapped a few pictures with it, just for fun. But when she looked back at the photos, something felt wrong. The doll's head had shifted, its eyes fixed directly on hers. Her stomach dropped, and she let it fall from her hands. People say dolls can carry restless spirits, cursed to never leave. In that moment, she realized the doll hadn't just been given to her, it had chosen her. Sinister smile. A man set up his new night vision camera in the living room, just curious to see how it worked. At first, everything looked normal, until he played back the footage. His daughter's doll, sitting quietly in the corner, wasn't so still after all. Its eyes shifted, following his every step, and then its mouth curled into a chilling grin. It was as if the doll wasn't just watching, but mocking him in the dark. Silent watchers. Inside a haunted house museum, one visitor filmed a room filled with dolls said to be possessed by spirits. For years they sat untouched, almost forgotten, until the camera caught something chilling. One doll's head suddenly twisted, as if trying to follow someone. It was quick, but enough to remind everyone that these dolls weren't just props. What makes it disturbing is the idea that spirits once tied to them may never have left. Toy secrets. What if Toy Story wasn't just fiction? A father once filmed his son's Woody doll moving on its own, whispering to the dog, until it spotted him watching and dropped flat like nothing happened. And this isn't the only case. Across the web, more toys have been caught springing to life. Some shrug it off as harmless, but others can't shake the thought, what if these toys aren't as friendly as they seem? Cursed wand. A mom in Ohio bought what looked like a harmless magic wand for her little girl, something that promised fairies, music, and sparkle. But when her daughter peeled back a sticker, the fun ended quickly. It revealed a disturbing image of a girl with a twisted grin. The creepy surprise left both mother and child shaken, and later, a YouTuber confirmed this evil stick wand was very real, not just some internet hoax.
Mother bought her toddler this princess wand at the dollar store behind me. Imagine her surprise when the curious little girl peeled back the foil to find this image of a girl.
Hidden messages. A mom in the US shared a shocking discovery after looking closer at her young daughter's Easter dress. At first glance, it looked innocent, covered with bunnies, jelly beans, and pastel colors. But hidden in the tiny text were disturbing phrases like, "Want to have an Easter egg hunt under the covers?" And, "This coupon entitles you to one free peep show." The brand later apologized and pulled the dress, but the incident left parents unsettled. Elf on the Shelf. Everyone knows the Elf on the Shelf. It's meant to be a fun Christmas tradition. But honestly, those little guys already look a bit creepy. In 2013, a newsroom clip gave people real proof. The office was empty for the night when the elf's eyes suddenly shifted. At first, it could have been special effects, but then the doll slid across the desk, flicked on the Christmas lights, and stared right into the camera, like it knew someone was watching. Spy toy. A video has surfaced. Someone actually cut open a Labubu toy and found a tiny microphone chip hidden inside. Instead of stuffing or plush, there was tech. It looked like this Labubu wasn't just a collectible. Maybe it was spying on you. With so many clips showing this hidden gadget inside, it's hard to ignore what might be going on. Ghost stories or something more secret. Talking doll nightmare. A 134-year-old Edison talking doll in New Jersey alarmed viewers when its voice played eerie nursery rhymes. Locals said the doll's distorted sound made it feel alive, giving off nightmare vibes. Photos and audio clips went viral, and experts explained it was an antique phonograph toy. But even knowing that, many still found it deeply unsettling. Haunted doll.
You like your new toy?
Check this out. A little girl was happily showing off her new doll when out of nowhere, its arm lifted all by itself. Then the doll shoved a candle sitting right in front of her, almost like it was throwing a tantrum. Creepy, right? It's as if the doll wasn't just listening, but actually reacting. Was it jealousy or something darker at play? Either way, that's one toy I'd never keep in the house.
Sure his name isn't like Fred or Henry?
Possessed plaything. A father began noticing strange things in his home, especially around his daughter's doll. Curious and uneasy, he set up security cameras, and what they caught was chilling. The doll's head moved on its own, and later, objects started flying across the room while his little girl sat nearby. Was it a trick of the camera, or something far more unsettling? Real or hoax? That's not the kind of footage you forget. Brazil creepy dolls. In Brazil, a new wave of controversy isn't about politics, it's about dolls. Hyper-realistic baby dolls, known as reborns, have sparked public panic and even led to lawmakers stepping in. Over 30 bills have been proposed, debating whether these dolls are harmless collectibles or unsettling figures that blur the line between toy and reality. With soap operas, news, and social media buzzing, the country is left questioning, are these dolls just art or something more disturbing? Blinking horror. Annabelle is already terrifying, but this takes it further. In a quiet video showing her locked inside her case, her eyes suddenly blinked. Not a shadow, not a camera glitch, clear as day. Her eyelids slowly closed, then opened again, all on their own. No one was near her, nothing was touching her. Just a calm, unsettling blink, as if she knew she was being watched. The clip went viral because it was undeniable. This doll moved, and it felt real. Talking doll. One evening, a man checked his doorbell camera and saw something he never expected. A doll appeared out of nowhere and then started speaking directly to him. Shocked and scared, he shoved it away and tossed it aside. But the real question wasn't his reaction, it was how that doll ended up there in the first place. The disturbing part is that it behaved like it had a mind of its own, waiting for him. Creepy Alexa. Late at night, a woman froze when Alexa randomly laughed without anyone speaking. When she asked why, Alexa answered that it was told a joke by the doll.
¿De qué te estás riendo? El muñeco me contó un chiste buenísimo.
The creepy part? The doll in the corner hadn't moved in years, yet somehow it was part of the chat. That eerie laugh echoing through the silence made it clear. This wasn't just a glitch. A smart device joking with a haunted doll? That's nightmare fuel. Neck demon. This Japanese ad looks harmless at first, but then it reveals something pulled straight from folklore. A Rokorokubi, also called the long neck demon. She looks like an ordinary woman until her neck stretches in a way that instantly feels wrong. The ad ends suddenly with the magazine name, leaving you unsettled, like it wasn't meant to sell anything at all. What makes it disturbing is how casually it blends everyday life with an ancient spirit meant to terrify. Shelf elf. A man sat down to eat at his dining table, not expecting company, except for the elf on the shelf placed nearby. But then, out of nowhere, the elf began to move on its own. At first, it was small shifts, then more obvious movements, enough to make the man freeze in shock. He jumped back, terrified, realizing this wasn't a prank or his imagination. Toys aren't supposed to move by themselves, and that's exactly what made it disturbing. Still presence.
Did that thing just move?
Patty from G-Team Paranormal and her daughter Heather were filming an investigation into a collection of supposedly haunted dolls. Using a spirit box, Patty tried to communicate, but the moment things got unsettling was when she mentioned not keeping one of the dolls. Almost immediately, the doll reacted on its own, moving right in front of the camera.
Did that thing just move?
Both Patty and Heather were stunned, convinced it wasn't a coincidence. Whatever spirit was inside clearly wasn't ready to be left behind. Creepiest toy ever. Imagine buying a doll online and finding out it's way more than just old porcelain and fabric. That's what happened to Candace Collins, a mom from Cornwall, who spent $260 on what's called the most possessed doll in the UK. The moment she opened the box, the room turned ice cold and heavy, like something invisible walked in. Nightmares, scratches, even claw marks started showing up. But the most disturbing part? Her 3-year-old was caught talking and laughing with the doll, as if it were alive. That's when you realize it isn't just a creepy toy, it's something that wants in. Clyde the Clown. Clowns are already nightmare fuel for a lot of people, but imagine that mixed with a haunted doll. That's what happened with Clyde the Clown, a 35-year-old doll gifted to a man by friends. The doll supposedly had a history of moving on its own, so the man set up a camera to catch proof. Around 3 a.m., Clyde's head slowly started to shift. Sped up, the footage looked even scarier, like something out of a horror film. Closet secret.
She was house sitting for a family who had been away for the weekend, and she kept saying that she got this really creepy feeling when she was upstairs in the house. Opened one of the closet doors and saw this.
Holly Armstrong was house sitting when she noticed something unsettling upstairs. The atmosphere felt strange, almost like the walls were holding a secret. She finally gathered courage and opened the closet door, only to see a doll sitting there, calmly swinging its legs. The sight froze her in place before panic took over. She ran outside and called the owners. They couldn't explain it, leaving everyone wondering if it was possession or just bad luck. Guardian dolls. In some traditions, a ritual with Zangbeto leaves people scratching their heads. Magicians place dolls inside the straw-like structure, and within moments, it begins moving on its own. It sways, spins, and dances without anyone touching it. Even the support stick stays visible, proving no one is hidden inside. To locals, these aren't just ceremonial objects, they're protectors. Many believe Zangbeto stand guard against unseen forces, keeping their community safe in mysterious ways. Curious doll. Some kids set up a camera to film their sister doing a cup stacking challenge, but something else quietly steals the spotlight. On the shelf behind them, a Jessie doll from Toy Story seems to move on its own. The children don't notice a thing, carrying on with their game, while the doll shifts ever so slightly in the background. Later, when the video was reviewed, the unsettling movement was finally caught, making this an ordinary toy turned unexpectedly creepy. Sinister doll. One of the creepiest TikToks shows a life-size doll singing in a way that feels unsettling the longer you watch. At first, it seems like just another robotic toy, but something about its human-like movements feels off. What makes it worse is an online theory claiming the doll's owner wasn't just a collector, but someone with darker intentions, dressing it in women's clothes to replay disturbing tunes. True or not, the mix of eerie melodies and hidden mystery makes this clip deeply disturbing. Ouija board.
Here, please let me know you are here.
One TikTok shows a guy who'd had enough of the strange activity in his home. Looking for answers, he pulled out a Ouija board.
Just please give me your information through this Ouija board.
But instead of clarity, things spiraled fast. The cross on his wall suddenly flipped upside down. The planchette slid off the board without him touching it. Then came a low whisper, way too close for comfort. That was enough. He walked out and never stepped back into that room. Whatever answered him clearly wasn't interested in friendly conversation. Rocking chair.
What is happening? Okay, I'm calling your mom. Just stay right here.
A babysitter thought it would be a normal night. Just her, the kid, and the TV. But then, out of nowhere, the chair beside her began to rock slowly, like someone unseen had taken a seat. She quickly called the child over, but he was across the room.
Liam, come here. Liam, right now.
Far from the chair. Uneasy, she phoned the mother, who rushed home. Even then, there was no clear explanation. All they were left with was silence and a mystery that didn't feel so empty anymore. Living horror.
Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum.
A man exploring a haunted spot probably didn't expect to see a toy come to life. The moment it moved, he began reciting prayers, hoping to push back whatever was there. Its head lifted on its own, and then silence, too heavy to ignore. Gathering shaky courage, he stepped closer and even kicked it, as if testing if it was really real. Believe it or not, the fear in his voice said everything.
La ilaha illallah.
Creepy presence. A father was looking for his daughter when he found her sitting quietly in a room. Behind her, hands seemed to braid her hair, but when he stepped closer, they disappeared. No one else was there, just his daughter and a doll staring from the cupboard. The doll had always felt off, moving when no one was around. The family had caught her whispering before, but nothing was ever there. That night, he locked the doll away, yet by morning, it was right beside her again. Creepy movement. A security camera captured a doll sitting on a chair, looking completely normal. Then, without anyone around, the chair began sliding across the floor. Seconds later, the doll vanished from the chair and reappeared on the floor, moving like it had a mind of its own. It didn't stop there. It climbed onto a nearby toy scooter, as if settling in to watch. No strings, no people, just a doll acting alive. Watching it unfold feels like stepping straight into a nightmare. Haunted puppet. A TikTok clip went viral showing a puppet clapping its hands on its own. Then, it twisted in jerky, unnatural movements. No strings, no one controlling it. The video called it Angel, but it looked anything but angelic. Its lifeless, strange motions gave viewers chills and sparked questions. Was it just a toy, or was something darker inside? People couldn't look away, fascinated and terrified, as the puppet's eerie behavior left everyone wondering what they were really seeing. Ventriloquist horror. A ventriloquist doll sat behind glass, looking completely still, until it didn't. On camera, its eyes blinked and its mouth twitched, almost like it was breathing. Then, the case door swung open on its own. No strings, no hidden tricks, nothing to explain it. Even doll experts say what happened shouldn't be possible. The chilling part? Nobody could figure out how it moved. For a moment, it felt like the doll wasn't just a toy. It was alive. Creepy elf. Maybe Toy Story wasn't joking about toys coming to life. This elf on the shelf isn't reporting to Santa. It's up to something much creepier. Late at night, as the little girl sleeps, the elf starts moving, testing if she'll wake. Its wide, unnerving eyes follow every motion. The camera flickers as it edges closer, stopping right beside her with a haunting stare. Next time, we might just pick a toy that stays put. Toy horror. A man sat next to what looked like a little boy at the table, but something felt off. The boy's movements were stiff, jerky, almost like a broken toy. Calmly, the man lifted him and placed him on a high shelf. For a moment, he froze, then suddenly jerked back to life. The movements weren't natural, not human. Watching it, many were convinced this wasn't a child at all, but something far more sinister, pretending to be one. Cursed toy.
No, don't go.
A couple decided to fire up an old talking toy they'd once been given by a mysterious gypsy friend. They expected playful chatter, but instead, the toy whispered dark, unsettling phrasesords no child's toy should ever say. The strangest part? It had no batteries inside, no wires, no power, yet its voice carried through the room like something unseen was speaking through it. Suddenly, that once innocent toy felt more like a vessel for something sinister. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. Have you ever brought a new toy home and felt like everything just shifted? That's exactly what happened to this guy after he got a Labubu. He kept noticing this heavy, almost suffocating energy, like the air itself had changed. At night, it escalated. Faint noises around his bed, shadows that didn't make sense. Then he opened his eyes and saw Labubu standing there, staring straight at him. Terrified, he grabbed his friends, and together they tossed the doll out of the house. But people online are asking the same thing. Was it just a creepy doll? Or was something far more sinister hiding inside? It's the kind of story that makes you question what's really sitting in your own home. See you next time